Welcome to The Explainer. I'm our host, Dr. Chem, and today we're stepping right into the absolute cutting-edge world of analytical chemistry. Picture a futuristic, state-of-the-art laboratory, bathed in soft golden blue lighting, where these incredibly advanced chromatography instruments are just humming with precision. Out here, we're essentially molecular detectives. We're using glowing holographic displays to untangle the chemical secrets of the natural world. And our absolute tool of choice for this? Normal-Phase Chromatography, or NPC. Let's dive right in. So imagine you're standing in front of a massive vat of crude palm oil. Somewhere, swimming inside that complex, murky sea of biological matter, are these highly prized cancer-fighting molecules called tocotrienols. They've got unbelievably powerful antioxidative properties, and they're massively sought after by both the pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industries. But here's the catch. You can't just scoop them out. They are totally trapped, bonded, and mixed in with thousands of other compounds. So how on earth do you isolate just that one high-value molecule?
Well, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the need for separation. Second, we'll look at how normal phase actually works. Third, we're tuning the mobile phase. Fourth, normal versus reverse phase. And finally, real-world applications.
Starting with Section 1, the need for separation, or, as I like to think of it, finding the needle in the chemical haystack. Finding that molecular needle isn't just some fun academic exercise. It quite literally dictates modern medicine, biochemical research, and even international trade. Because visually, these molecules are so deceptive. If you compare the molecular structures of various tocopherols found in palm oil, like alpha-tocopherol versus gamma-tocotrienol, structurally they are almost identical. It's a massive analytical headache. In fact, the Malaysian Palm Oil Board notes that because these components are so stubbornly hard to separate to a clear baseline, different laboratories end up getting completely different results. And that discrepancy leads to huge international trade disputes over the volume and price of these extracts. We desperately need a technique that can reliably tell these chemical twins apart. That brings us to Section 2, how normal phase works. This is our micro-sorting machine. To solve this billion-dollar problem, we have to look at our micro-sorting system in action. Normal-phase chromatography uses a solid, highly polar stationary phase packed tight inside a column, and it washes that column with a less polar liquid, which we call the mobile phase. The golden rule to remember here is polarity. The neutral solutes in our sample are separated entirely based on how polar they are. It's simple. The more polar the solute molecule, the longer its retention time. Basically, it stays trapped inside the machine way longer before washing out. Now, the dominant retention mechanism making this happen is called adsorption. Think of it like a really specific magnetic attraction, or a specialized stickiness. As the sample molecules flow through, they're wildly attracted to that solid surface. They stick to it, that's the adsorption, and then they release. That's desorption. The molecules undergo this continuous, rapid-fire series of sticking and releasing steps the whole way down the column. If we zoom in super close, right down to the atomic level, we can see exactly what our molecules are sticking to. For normal phase chromatography, silica is the absolute go-to stationary phase because it's readily available, it's low cost, and it won't break down your samples. There are these OH groups standing right up on the silica's surface. Those are polar silanol groups, and they act exactly like microscopic magnets. Because our target molecules have their own polar functional groups, they are irresistibly drawn to these silanol magnets. It's really just a chemical handshake, based entirely on spatial configuration. All right, Section 3, tuning the mobile phase. Let's dial in the perfect wash. So our target molecules are stuck fast to the silica wall. How do we actually get them off? Well, the mobile phase isn't just some random liquid. It's a highly engineered mixture. Scientists start with a primary solvent, which is completely nonpolar, like hexane or heptane. This acts as the carrying stream. But since our sample molecules are so strongly adsorbed to the polar silica, the nonpolar hexane can't wash them away on its own. So scientists actively layer in secondary solvents, which are polar, things like ethyl acetate or methanol. These secondary solvents act as competitors. They actively fight our sample molecules for those magnetic spots on the silica, effectively kicking the sample molecules off the wall and washing them right down the column. The really crucial point here is knowing exactly how much competitive strength you need. The key is how the solvent strength scales up. Hexane has a strength of 0, meaning it doesn't compete at all. But as we move up to methylene chloride, then ethyl acetate, and finally to methanol at a 0.70, the solvent gets stronger and a lot more polar.
A good chemist acts like a precision DJ here. They're observing the solvent gradient visualizations on their holographic lab displays, starting with a very low solvent strength and slowly turning up the dial, adding a solvent with greater strength until that perfect, incredibly precise separation happens.
Moving to section 4, normal versus reverse phase. This is all about choosing the right tool for the job. If you spend any time around modern laboratories, you already know there's another massive player in town, reverse phase chromatography. It's exactly what it sounds like, a total inversion of the system we just talked about. Reverse phase uses a non-polar stationary phase, like C18, and washes it with a highly polar mobile phase, like water mixed with methanol. Now, reverse phase is incredibly robust, highly reproducible, and it basically dominates modern HPLC analysis by separating compounds based on their hydrophobicity. But normal phase provides something reverse phase simply cannot: unique selectivity. Because normal phase relies on those ultra-precise spatial polar interactions we saw earlier, it is the undisputed champion when you need to separate molecules by their structural class rather than just their fear of water. And finally, section 5, real-world applications. Time for some victory laps in the lab. This brings us full circle to our opening question. Remember that impossible murky fee of palm oil and those identical-looking structural twins? By using a precisely tuned normal phase system, researchers are able to achieve comprehensive baseline separation of every single tocopherol and tocotrienol in the oil. It separates them so cleanly, so perfectly, that scientists can calculate the exact true concentration of those cancer-fighting molecules without any interfering overlaps. And its capabilities go way beyond palm oil. In biochemical research, normal phase is heavily used to separate incredibly complex lipid classes like ceramides, phospholipids, and triglycerides. Organic chemistry labs use it for purifying synthetic intermediates and isolating less polar plant pigments like porphyrins. But most importantly, it absolutely excels at isolating structural and geometric isomers. Listen, if you have a molecule where just one single functional group is pointing to the left instead of the right, normal phase is sensitive enough to the spatial configuration to catch that tiny difference, lighting up our analytical displays with jaw-dropping precision. The ultimate proof of this is when you get those beautifully glowing chromatogram peaks. They represent the successful baseline separation of totally distinct isomers, like separating the 6 different isomers of trinitrotoluene or the chlorinoline isomers. In a standard reverse phase system, those might all just clump together into one messy, unreadable blob. But here, thanks to the precise polar interactions with the silica, every single structural isomer gets its own distinct, beautifully resolved peak. As the fluid exits the column, each of these peaks can be seamlessly collected into separate vials, giving us perfectly purified compounds, isolated with high precision and ready for the world. So from resolving massive international trade disputes over palm oil vitamins to isolating incredibly specific organic isomers for cutting-edge pharmaceuticals, normal phase chromatography remains an entirely irreplaceable precision tool in our analytical chemistry arsenal. But it definitely leaves us with an exciting thought to ponder. As human biochemistry and synthetic drug manufacturing demand even purer, more complex, and totally distinct isomers, what microscopic frontiers will chromatography conquer next? Thank you so much for exploring the molecular world with us today. I've been your host, Dr. Chem, and keep your curiosity tuned for our next explainer.